Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. So I introduced this technique, about a month or two ago, but now we're going to step it up and make it the fused ruffle wreath. And you're going to like what we do here. So stay tuned. This is going to have a voiceover, but I did this wreath originally over on Amazon Live and I recorded it so that I could have it here for you too. So let's get started. So it all starts with this sign. We're going to do a voiceover in this video. This is a wreath I taught on Amazon Live, and I bought this wreath sign from Amazon. We're going to use a Dollar Tree wreath frame, and we'll go over that a little bit more here in a moment. But I want to share with you, I should say, a new technique that I want to fuse this together so that we don't have any raw edges. So this is called my folded ruffle, and I've done this in another video, and I will leave the link for the original video down below. But what I want to show you is we're going to fold it under. See how I folded that under there? And basically we want to cut a 5-inch piece here. So I'm folding it over on top of it itself so that we can fuse these two pieces together, and then that way we won't have any raw edges. Now, if you see, I have a glass cutting board over that rotary mat that I just patted. Again, you can get all this stuff from my Amazon shop. The link is in my bio. But as you can see, this will take you a little bit more time, but I promise you that when you put it together, it will go very quickly. So there I am putting my favorite scissors, again, from Amazon. You guys told me about the scissors and I love it. So we're going to now cut it with the wood burner down on the 5-inch mark. So I need a 5-inch cut here. That's what you're looking for. You're going to take your wood burner, and I'm going to use this chisel tip. This is the only wood burner I use, and again, they carry it at Amazon. And so basically you're going to make sure you wear a mask, and I'm talking with my hands here, you know how I am. And so we're going to cut it, and we're just going to go a little slower, and we're going to make sure that we cut it at the 5-inch mark there. So I'm just going a little bit slower, and I'm trying to stay in the lines of the top piece of mesh, okay? So I'm going to just finish that, and then I'm going to show you how we fuse this together, and this will make your job so much easier. So there you go. You've got a fused piece of mesh so that we won't have any raw sides to our wreath, okay? And I show you here how I did have the raw side, and then I thought there's got to be a way we can fuse this together, so I'm going to show you that in a moment. But that's the way it looks when it's fused, and we can move on to the next step. Before I move on to the next step, you can see there's a little bit of a cut that was from the previous cut that we did. You can actually just move that over that 5-inch line and then cut it again. So if you want to save a step, or you can just simply cut it and get it out of the way. It's really up to you, and I want to show you how easy this is and make sure that you understand that this is going to make this wreath easier, and you're just going to take it and you're going to go across and do it a little bit slower. I just want to show you one more time here. And then at this point, I would cut that little piece there. I don't think I got it all the way. I would cut that piece because now it has like 3 layers on it, and then start over again. So let's get on to making this wreath. Okay, so now we're going to prep our sign for our wreath. And I'm all about sharing the mistakes here because crafting isn't perfect. So I took the sign and I used this little stapler it's like a little craft stapler, and I put it over top of the rope thinking that it would like give me enough space. But you know what? It didn't. The stapler came through a little bit, but again, you can hardly see it. So I'm not too worried about it. And then I just twisted my wire. So if I was to do this again, I would probably put another piece of rope there to kind of make sure that it couldn't go all the way through, or even a small piece of like cardboard or something. So as you can see, I'm going to flip this over, and then I'm going to see my accident here, and like, oh my goodness, the staple came through just a little bit, but we're going to make it work because we're going to keep going. There's no reason to waste this sign. Again, you can get this sign at Amazon, and I will have the link below. And in this, I'm going to take the little bow off here, and we're going to do a different bow. So in true, fix it Julie form, I'm going to show you how you could do it another way. You can take your glue gun, you can take a scrap piece of felt. I do like to use the Gorilla Glue, and you can make your links with the wire this way. It's really up to you, but this was my other solution for that, and I always want to just share what else can you do. Let's talk about the frame. We're using a Dollar Tree frame or a 14-inch frame, whichever you want to use. You could even use a 16-inch frame. I always take the plastic canvas. You can get it in your yarn and embroidery section at your local craft store. You're going to draw a circle on that inner frame there, and then you're just going to zip tie it to your frame. And that's what gets us started and is a great surface to make a wreath. So that's all you're going to do. Pretty simple. So let's get to the fun part. I'm going to take some 1.5-inch wired ribbon. I'm going to cut it at 10 inches each. I'm going to fold it over and then fold it lengthwise and do a dovetail cut. Now, later on in the video, I talk about how you could actually make these ribbons maybe 11 inches. It's really up to you. At here, I don't even know what I'm doing because I cut it way too short. But for the dovetail example, here you go again. But this is going to be something we add into the step of making our fold for this wreath. And it's just going to save us some time, and I just really think it really is going to bring it together. Okay, so we're going to take our pieces. We're using a mint green and we're using an ivory. As you can see the fused mesh there. A little bit came apart, but that's okay. That's going to be the back of our fold. So I'm going to flip it over. And now I'm going to add ribbon, and I just feel like this is going to add a nice extra touch to this ribbon or to this wreath, and it's going to like give you a step that you don't have to do later. So that's what I really like it. So we're just going to gather it in the middle. All right, we've got a little bow tie going on, and then we're going to just fold it up. All right, you're going to have the left petal going over the right petal just a little bit. I know I'm calling them petals, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So we're going to take this wreath frame and we're going to do our bars. You know the drill, bar 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're working on bar 2. This is pretty much my standard thing, is I work on bar 2, and I'm just going to zip tie it to the frame. These are my favorite zip ties. I get them on Amazon. I rave about them because they work really, really well. So what we're going to do here is we are going to cut that little zip tie off, and then we're going to move our petal over and we're going to make another one. So again, make sure your fused side is on the bottom here. Take your layers of, oh, that was the short one that didn't work. But listen, take your ribbons, whatever you want to use, be creative. As you can see, if I did this again, I really would cut that 11 inches so that they would just kind of poke out just a little bit more. You're going to gather it and then again bring that left petal over the right petal and take your zip tie and put it on bar 2. It's that simple and it's that easy. So I mean, you just can't mess this up. I love it. It's just going to be so cute when it's done. And of course, you saw the finished product at the beginning, so you know how cute this is going to be. So I'm going to keep doing this all the way around our wreath, and I'll come back when we're a little bit closer to the end here. But just keep doing this process around, and you want to kind of space them just about 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart. And in total, we'll use 14 of these petals on this wreath. So as you can see, we get around the wreath. I keep doing the same petal here over and over. And as you can see, I'm about 1.5 inches to maybe 2 inches apart. It's just, you want to make sure that they're touching just enough so that the next layer of petals that we put on here will overlap them, because we don't want anything to see or be shown. We don't want the workings of our wreath to be shown. But this mesh, I want to talk about where I got this mesh. You can, number one, you can get it on Amazon, but it's going to be a little bit more expensive over there. Or you can go to places like the Wreath Shop, Mel's Crafty Mojo, Trendy Tree, and it's actually quite cheaper over there too. So I have the links for all of those places in the description box below. You're just going to look where my little logo picture is, and you'll see the title of this video, and below that it will have a box, and you can click on that and you can find out everything that I use in this wreath. I will try to link down there, okay? So I'm adding one more here, and the ribbon, the orange and, well, really peach and white ribbon came from the Wreath shop, and that brown ribbon there, guys, with the little polka dots is the Sam's Club spring ribbon. Have you guys seen that? If you've seen the Sam's Club ribbon, please comment below, because this is the first time in all my years of making wreaths that I've actually seen it at Sam's Club in the spring. So definitely run over there. It's $6.97 for a 10-yard roll. Okay, so now we're going to get the white mesh. And honestly, I think this is the white mesh. It could be the ivory mesh, but I think it's the white. Either way, it looks really pretty. And then I'm going to use the same Sam's Club ribbon that I got, and then this kind of mossy green striped ribbon I got from the Wreath shop. So you're going to do the same exact thing. And then this time we're going to put our zip tie, if you can see to the left there, I put it on the actual canvas, and then I'm going to put it on the wreath form here. So if I had to do this again, because at the end of this wreath, I look at it and I think, you know what, I might have just went ahead and put it up a little bit more and more on that last rung of the wreath frame. But again, you live and you learn, but it's still going to be a beautiful wreath. So here I am going to show you how I keep putting them on. We're doing this the same way with the middle section, and you could even do, guys, a bigger frame. You could do a 16-inch frame and do 3 rows. It's really up to you. And as you can see, I put these in about an inch, maybe an inch and a half or an inch and a quarter apart. I kind of wish I would have like spaced them out just a little bit. I feel like I smushed them in a little bit too much. So again, learn from my mistake. I still think it turns out beautifully. But let's talk about the mesh that we're using here. We're using poly burlap. I do use a lot of poly burlap. I have a lot of it on hand, so I use what I have. And I've had this mint and white, and it really kind of in the camera, it looks more like ivory, but I do believe that this was white mesh or white poly burlap. But sometimes I feel like my mind or my eyes plays tricks on me, and I have a problem telling the difference between white and cream and like black and navy. I did this in my stories the other day. But if you want to get this mesh, number one, you can get it from Amazon, but it's going to be a lot more money on Amazon, okay? So even though Amazon will send it to you for free, you're still kind of paying extra there. But what you can do is go to the description box below, and you can shop at the links at the places that I really like to shop from, which is the Wreath shop, Mel's Crafty Mojo, and Trendy Tree. You're going to get excellent service from each and every one of those shops. They are my affiliate links, and with Mel's Crafty Mojo, you get 10% off if you spend, I believe, $35 or more, and you use my coupon code Julie's Wreath Boutique. So I just like to share that with you guys. I like to support small business, but you can get all this mesh at those places as well. Could you do this with deco mesh? Absolutely. I really feel like this would be really pretty with deco mesh. You could do this with fabric mesh. It depends on what's in the fabric mesh, whether or not you could fuse it or not, but just keep in mind that you can use the different meshes and be creative with it. You could use poly burlap, deco mesh. You could fuse pieces together, have fun with it. That's what I want. I want you to have fun with what you're creating. And I just think adding this ribbon is such a neat extra step that you don't have to add it afterwards and you're not wasting zip ties. I love that. Okay, I want to be extra, so we're going to be extra. You're going to start with the brown and white ribbon. You're going to take an 8-inch length for the tail, and then you're going to measure at 7 inches, okay? You're going to come at the middle, you're going to twist it and do another 7 inches. And we're just going to keep repeating this 3 times on each side. So there's the first one, and we're going to just twist it, as you can see. And we're going to do another one. I'm kind of checking on the board because I don't want it to be too big. And honestly, if you like the ribbon that came with this sign, just keep it. You don't have to do what I'm doing here. But I do like to show you guys how to do this. Again, see, I'm just twisting it there, making sure the right side of the ribbon is facing up. Another 7 inches. And we're going to twist it and come back, and we're going to add another loop on each side. and then we're going to cut 8-inch length tail. Okay, so I'm going to just show you real quick here. I know that some of you guys are like, oh, Julie, can we just move on? But somebody's watching and they've never done it, and I want to make sure that they can see it. And there you go. So at this point, I'm just going to take a zip tie, and this is kind of like my zip tie bow. And I have bow videos here on YouTube. I will leave a link down below. I teach you how to do bow makers. I teach you how to use it by hand, but I'm just going to put a little zip tie, and we're going to move on to the next part of this wreath. So I opted to use the peach and white, and we're going to do another 8-inch tail there. And really, you don't even have to do a tail, but we did. So we're going to do 6-inch loops here. So we just are going to do the same process we did before, and we're going to twist it when we get back to the center, measure 6 inches. That's why I like these rotary boards, guys. If you don't have one of these, it's really handy to have, and it's just such a great work surface. So you can pick them up at your local craft store, but honestly, Amazon has them for $29 and it gets shipped right to your door. So I'm going to do 4 loops, 2 on each side, and then I'm going to cut another tail about 8 inches. And I know we probably are going to waste a little bit of that, but that's okay. It's really good ribbon and I love it. So I kind of like lost a little bit of there, but I'm going to take it and put it over top of our brown and white ribbon and put another zip tie across it. And then we're going to make the center for this. So just add that to your bow. So here I'm going to do is take the green ribbon. Here I'm going to do, that doesn't even make sense, Julie, but we're going to go with it, guys. We're going to cut the wire part off so it's not so bulky, but at this point I realized I didn't put the wire in the back of this bow so that we can kind of wrap it around the center. So as you can see, I'm just sliding it under one of those zip ties. So if you want to add this little wire before you do this, again, Julie's not perfect. She doesn't get it right every time, and sometimes she messes up, and I got to show you how I fix my mistake, okay? So again, wrap it, put it around the center, and it's going to offer such a cute little touch. I just simply do a slip knot here, and then I'm going to just pull it really tight. I'm going to add some glue underneath of it to kind of help secure it. I just think the glue is going to help, and it doesn't hurt anything. And then we're just going to like kind of hold that still, and then I'm going to take, I'm sorry, that glue gun is just a shake gun, isn't it? Then we're just going to wrap those wires around each other, and then it's just going to help secure it. And then I'm just going to clip those off because we don't need them at this point. So let's fluff this bow out. You're just going to fluff it up, and then you're going to kind of measure it and see how big you want it on your board here, or on your, not board, but your sign. You get what I'm talking about. But I did this wreath originally on Amazon Live, and so if you ever want to follow me, I will leave the link for Amazon Live down below, and that's where you'll find me making wreaths live several times a month. But go check me out over there too. Okay, so now we're going to put it on our sign here. And as you can see, it's a little bit big, but if I did this over again, I probably wouldn't put any tails on this bow. But listen, it works. It looks so pretty, and I like how it turned out. If you want to do like a smaller bow, instead of doing 7-inch loops on the brown, maybe do 6-inch loops and then do 5-inch loops for the secondary ribbon. So what I decided to do is get my little trusty, stapler out, and I stapled part of it to the board. I figured at this point, it doesn't matter if the staple goes all the way through, but I figured this little stapler would be handy, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue, but it's just going to ensure that our bow stays put. And you can get these little staplers, this staple gun, I should call it by its right name, Julie. You can get them on Amazon, in my Amazon storefront, and again, the link's always in the description box below. It's the Fiskars staple gun. They're around $15, and here I am holding the glue until it will not move. So now I've cut the little tails, and honestly, when I get done with this wreath, I cut them a little bit more. So let's put this wreath and this sign together, and you're just going to find spots where that wire can go into the canvas. I know it's a little hard for you guys to see here, but I think you can kind of see how I'm putting it down through the canvas. And then I'm going to get all of my wire through first, and then I'm going to twist it on the wreath. It's really important that we get it on the center of the wreath and make it work and come together. I think it looks so pretty. When you're done with this, you're going to want to fluff out those ribbons, guys. You're going to have a little bit more work to do, but let me show you where I turn this over and we put it together. So at this point, we're just going to find the wires, we're going to pull them through, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is even. I've got all my wires through. I know they may not look at like symmetrical, and that's okay. All we need is that this sign looks straight. And so we're just going to wrap them, and then I just kind of push that back right into the canvas. And I'm telling you something here, but I'm going to tell you that you're going to need 14 petals for the outside, and I did 14 petals on the inside. But again, I think you could get away with more like 12 on the inside if you didn't want them as scrunched up as I did. So the next part here is I'm going to show you how to put some felt on the back of it. It's really simple and really easy to do. This is just felt I buy from the yard. And I make the template before I even start. I put little holes in it with my little scissors here, and then I'm going to take it and we're going to attach it with zip ties on the frame. It's that simple. So I just take my little zip ties and then I will go around the frame, and I will hang this wreath from the frame itself. I won't put another loop because we'll just use the wire wreath frame. And that's how easy it is to cover the back of your wreath. So it looks all nice and tidy for everybody, and nobody's going to see the fixings on the back. So I like doing this, and I just think it's a nice added touch. And then you're just going to cut the little zip ties, and you're going to kind of swing that head of the zip tie underneath your wreath. So I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm just going to like fluff up everything up. And I know this is not a great shot here, so I'm going to show you this in the next clip all done, and that you can see it a little bit better. But if you made it this far in the video, please leave me a bicycle in the comments below. And again, I would have cut these ribbons at 11 inches and not 10 inches, just so that they could kind of poke out a little bit more. But listen, if you made it, make sure to share it on social media and tag me in a post. But listen, I love this wreath, and I hope you love this wreath. Again, thanks so much for watching. I wanted to give you a full view of this wreath. I think it's adorable. If you love bicycles, if you love spring, this wreath is perfect. So I hope you love to make it, and make sure to subscribe, and we'll be back every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you next week.